Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? All keeping well? Malvern is nice and blue skies, sunshine today. There's a few more flowers popping up in the garden, which look really pretty. Nice to see some flowers after the winter, isn't it? Just makes you feel a little bit happier about things. Happy Valentine's to everyone out there. I'd like to share a little bit of love around, and perhaps today is a little bit of bead love. So I hope you all enjoy it. We've got a nice little project today for you. Slanted tiles with beautiful little checked glass tiles which have two holes to them in a diagonal. Not something I'd used previously, but I've had fun having a go with them and trying to come up with a nice project for you all. So let's have a look. Let's see what's going on out there. So let's have a look. Oh, we've got some nice comments coming in already, guys. Let's see if we can make this work. Paul says, I really love all your tutorials. Thank you so much for all your creative designs and making me a better beader. Oh, brilliant, Paul. Thank you. And yeah, we've got here we go. Amy, I agree with Paul. So much fun to watch as well. Brilliant. I hope you're all loving it. We've got a hello from Stephanie and Irina. Hi, Joe and everyone. Hiya. Welcome. Let's have some fun and play with some beads. This is what we like to do. And sometimes our normal life gets in the way, but just got to make a bit of time for yourself and your beads occasionally, whenever you can fit it in. And the more you practice, the more ideas you can come up with, the better beader you'll become. And that's it. Just keep playing, just keep recreating, and you'll come up with your own ideas. A lot of you already out there, very inspirational designs. See the photos that you post on the Bead Spider Facebook page, and they're absolutely lovely to see what you're all creating out there. It's so nice to see. Sometimes we forget when we're tucked away in our own little space creating things that, you know, there are lots of people out there just doing the same thing. We all enjoy it, and it's nice when you can get together as well. So this is one way of getting together with some of you. A bit one-sided perhaps, but if you share your creations on the Facebook page as well, we can see, you know, what you've been making. Maybe you make up things while you're watching, yeah, or maybe you change your idea you're making while you're watching to something that suits. It may just be you're using different beads. So let's have a look at today's project. So here we go. Here's our little slanted tiles, and the light bouncing off of these is pretty cool. There we go. Let's have a nice little look at those. And I'd say they're beautiful. The little slanty tiles, the holes run, there's two holes, and it gives you different options of how you play with them and put them together. This is just a very simple bracelet. As we go along, you'll see, but the colour that come off, because they've got like an AB coating on top of them, they are all a bit different. And as they move in the light, you see different colours as well. And we've just added little faceted rounds and some seed beads. This particular version, I put a little clasp on the end. Today's one, we're going to use a toggle clasp, which is more fitting with the kits that were available. And up to you which way you like. Maybe you like magnetic style clasp, in which case that's a nice easy swap over. Okay, so here's the beads. Now what I will say, with any of your 2-hole beads when you're using, because generally when you bead with them, you are working along one of the holes and then you swap round and come back to fill the second hole. Now, what can happen in the manufacturing process of these beads is sometimes the little holes get blocked. So what I would suggest, if your beads are coming in on a strand, which sometimes they do, obviously the strand is running all the way through one side of the bead, and the other hole, just about a bit closer to the camera there is this second hole. So what I would do while it's actually on this, I would take a needle and keep it on the thread, because then you know exactly what bead you've already checked or haven't checked, and just pop your needle through that secondary hole. Okay, so we know the first hole's clear, it's already been held on place on that thread, and then just run away all the way along and check every bead has got a nice clear hole, because it's really frustrating if you get part way through a project and you find one of these holes is bunged up. Sometimes just pushing a needle through will move any debris that may be stuck in there. And I think it's just the process when they're being created, the little holes can get bunged up a little bit. Okay, so that's just one worth making that point to clear those holes. Okay, so we're just going to take some of those off of this strand. And say I have gone through before the camera was rolling to check that they are all clear on their two holes. Okay, and we're also using some little round faceted beads here, and seed beads. So these are size 10 seed beads. These have got a nice little soft coating of them, sort of like a topaz apricot-y colour, I would say. But they do have their own little sort of AB coating on there themselves. It doesn't show up particularly on here. And actually, I think those ones show it a little bit better down there. So that's the beads in question. So I have got the toggle clasp to use with today's version. So this is just what I happen to have in my pot bits to use. So this is a copper version. I think you've got silver or golds in the kits. Needle and thread. Now the Spider-on thread, really nice to use. This will be in your kit. And obviously the needle, obviously, it's not always obvious actually when you buy thread. With Bead Spider, you did get a needle included with your thread. Okay, so just pop on. A good meter for this bracelet. You should be able to do the whole thing in one go. I've only put about half a meter on here for today, just so it doesn't get in the way all over the place. Okay, so just to bring back the bracelet for a second. So I've got a little seed beaded section which forms the loop. And because on my original version I had the lobster clasp, which would actually go quite nicely over my little seed beads here to form my link. Okay, and today's version, we're going to start the same way with the loop of seed beads. We just have to remember to include our toggle. You could make the bracelet slightly shorter if you wanted to, and use your toggle with some jump rings, and that gives you a little bit of flexibility with the length of the bracelet for yourself. Okay, so to begin with, we are going to thread it on. So the size 10 seed beads here, we're going to pop 10 onto our needle. Bit of silence while I count 10 out, something like that. I'm sure you're all counting along with me, just to make sure I got 10 on there. Okay, and then we're also going to add one of the little sparkly crystal rounds. Okay, and then just bring them down near the tail thread. Right, on this project I don't need a particularly long tail thread because I'm not going to be coming back to using it. The other option you could use if you use a longer piece of thread is actually to keep, say you use a meter of thread, you could then keep half of your meter as your tail thread, and then when you've run out of thread on the needle side, you could then come back to your tail thread and start using that as your beading thread. That's another option you can do. So I've just tied a little knot there to make that a nice secure, and that's the start of our bracelet. So we've got the 10 seed beads and the 1 crystal there. And I always like to go back through and just reinforce that little loop. Okay. So how many of you are now shouting at the screen? Because I didn't put my toggle on. So you know what? Let's correct that. This is beading for you. Sometimes you get carried away with the beads and you forget what you told people. Okay. Let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And actually, you know, it's not a bad point to actually see someone who's beaded for a while use the needle to pick the seed beads up rather than picking the seed bead up. And remembering the toggle. Some people pick the seed bead up and place it onto the needle, which, if that works for you guys, it's not a problem. But I would say once you get into a lot of seed beading, you'll start just using the needle to pick your seed beads up. And also, once they're on the needle, you can count them again if you've lost count as you're going along. Now, you'll notice these seed beads are plenty small enough to go through the loop on this toggle, so I don't need to worry about where I fit my toggle. If the toggle's got a smaller link to it, you may wish to count 5 seed beads, pop your toggle on, count another 5 seed beads, so your toggle's in the middle of that little group of seed beads. Okay, just little things to think about, because there are some beautiful little toggle clasps out there, and I know the seed beads won't go through all of them. Okay, so back to here, just tie that knot and back around, tie your next knot. I'll see on the weather report today, some places are reaching sort of 15, 16 degrees outside today for February. I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's just tie that together, and just going to go past my needle back through just to give it some extra strength, reassure. Because over time your bracelets do a lot of wear and tear with where they're joining on. Careful not to get into a tangle with your toggle while you're just going around those seed beads. Okay, last seed bead, and back through the crystal. So you want to be exiting the crystal. Let's get the thread out of the way here. Okay, so that's our clasp on, and we're exiting from this little crystal here. Okay, now for the tiles. Okay, so we want to add 1 seed bead, and we want to add a tile. Now, if I can show you, hopefully it'll show up on the camera. Here we go. If you aim it at a slight angle, so you see you've got the coating, just aim it, you can see just under the surface where the 2 holes are going. Okay, so we're aiming at our bracelet. I'll bring the sun back in. For our leaves of the diamond, if you like, they're aiming outwards, so the hole runs bottom to top on that side, bottom to top on this side. So we just have to think about when we've got our little bead here, tilt it on the angle, and I've got the diamond shape here, and I've got the 2 holes running that way. Okay, once you've done a few, it'll be fine. It's the first couple you'll be thinking, oh, if I actually put that the right way round. Okay, so let's lay that down just so you can see. Now, zoom in a little bit more, it might help. Okay, right, so I'm going to be coming up this side of the bracelet first, and it's the inner holes that we will bead first. Okay, so this is our first bead here, so I'm running up that inner, this is going to be the middle, the inner edge of that hole there. So it's the first hole on this bead, and this will be the outer hole, which runs parallel with that needle at the moment. Okay, once you say you've done the first few, we'll be okay, we'll get that. So there we go, we'll pop that on. So we've come out the crystal, we've added 1 seed bead, we've got our diamond slanted tile, we're going to add another seed bead, we're going to add another faceted crystal, another seed bead. Okay, so there we go, and then we're going to get the next tile, and some of them are really quite hard to see. If you look on the edge, it might help. Okay, so I can see we've got a hole You see that guy? You've got a hole there and a hole there. Okay, so if you pop it on your needle, and like most bracelets, it's going to be a bit fiddly for the first couple. Okay, so we want these beads, they're going to sit next to each other like this. Pull the thread in slightly. And this one I've got upside down at the moment. I'll show you the difference. I put it back the other way. So that's the way I threaded it on just now. I'll turn it over. Put it down on the mat. Work out where it needs to go. So I need it to sit facing that way. Now at the moment I can see on the side my beads are running sort of right to left. Okay, now I've got the two, so I've got a V shape with beads, and the holes are now running parallel with each other on this side. Okay, so that's the position you want to try and get your beads into. You might find if you wanted to get ahead, you sort of try and work out where the beads sit before you start. So then my next one would be sat there. So I'll pop that one there ready. And the next one. And this is a really simple design to bead. I'm just making it look awkward. But you'll see when you have a go at these little diamond beads, they work one way and not the other. Well, you get an unusual pattern, which is, again, fine. So here we go. I'm coming down the diamond. Okay, so we've come out the faceted bead. We've added one seed bead, one slanted tile, one seed bead, a facet, a seed bead, a slanted tile, which will sit that way, one more seed bead, and then we're going to go back through this first faceted round in the same direction, which forms our first little loop. Okay, let's bring that back in screen for you. There we go. How's that? Okay. Right. Essentially, this is what we're going to be doing for the entire length of the bracelet. It makes up the spine. And then we work on the outer edge as we come back down. Okay. So we're coming out of this faceted round. We go back through the seed bead, back through the diamond, okay, through the seed bead, through the faceted round. Okay, so it's just the faceted one. We don't go back through the next seed bead in that line. Okay, so that's our little element, and we start again. So this time we're coming out the crystal. We had the seed bead. I've already got my two beads lined up. We had the diamond. We had the seed bead. We had, bring that back in a little bit, another faceted round, another seed bead, and then we're adding the second diamond to this little element. So I'm coming down that one, adding one more seed bead, and then through the faceted round there. There we go. Right, now this design is quite floppy to start with, so until we start strengthening it up on our next round. Okay. But here you can see that the diamonds go point, like the leaves are pointing outwards, but our thread paths are up the central aisle. Okay, so this is what we're going to be carrying on with, this in this direction, and hopefully that will make sense. I'm not sure this screen isn't very clear with the reflection off of the of these little beads. I think they might be having a bit of camera issue. Right, so we've just finished off that second one, and you see it gets really quite floppy at this point. It's fine. Keep hold of it. It'll be all right. Thumb and finger, hold your beads in place. You're coming out of that faceted bead. You're coming back up through the diamonds, through the seed bead at the top, and that faceted one. And then we are ready to add on our next little section. Okay. Well, we got a few hellos from everyone. Thank you very much, guys. Hello, Stephanie, Arena. Hello, hi everyone. Lorraine says, hello, Joe and all. Looks lovely. Thank you very much. Amy, the coatings make a big difference. They do. They're absolutely beautiful. And in your kits, you're going to get a mixture of beads as well, so you can absolutely have some fun playing with these. And Purple Penny, good day all. Hey, Penny. Carol, so hi all. We've got, beautiful here in Essex, even got the windows open. Oh, Carol, so I haven't been brave enough to open the windows, but it does look nice. It's very nice out there. It's a lovely day here in Badbury. Yesterday I was able to get out and do stuff in the garden. Oh, well, I managed to get out on Sunday, and it was a bit grey and overcast while I was out there. I come back in and made a cup of tea and dinner, and the sun came out. So I just timed that a bit badly, I think. Okay, let's carry on. We're coming out the crystal. We've added the seed bead. We're adding the next diamond, and we're looking for that diamond to be sat the point facing sort of 10 o'clock, I suppose, and our hole to be on this side. I hope that makes sense to you watching. It's not easy to explain when the diamond shape skews everything. What's horizontal, what's vertical. Okay, so once you popped it on, just make sure it's pointing in the same direction. We turned that round, that I confused everyone. There we go. All right. So we've got our seed bead, our diamond, our seed bead, our crystal, one more seed bead, and then we're looking for the diamond to come down. So we're looking for the point to be that way, but we need the holes. My holes are going the other way at the moment. There we go. So I've got my diamond pointing at 2 o'clock, and I can see my holes are now parallel down this way, and I'm coming down through this one. It says I should just moved it completely out of the way. There we go. If we pick it up, we can see. All right. So I've got the diamond pointing towards 2 o'clock, the hole on the left-hand side, because I'm going down through this diamond. Not a triangle at all. Down through there. Okay. Oh, can you see what I've done now? I've managed to pick up 2 seed beads. Well spotted, guys. There we go. It's got rid of that one. You see, I held my diamond in place, so I didn't have to faff around trying to work out which way round it went that time. Pick up that seed bead and put it in the right place. Background. And just double check which way you're coming out of that crystal. So it's coming out that side, so I'm going in through this side. Keep the thread going the same direction. Okay. So we go. That's our third element. So it's a very, very simple. And once you get the hang of these little diamonds, you're going to whiz along here quite quickly. Back through there, up to the round. Okay. And then we're ready to start the next little round. So on with our seed bead. We get our next little crystal ready. Our diamond. So again, I'm looking for the holes, where the holes are. Okay, so my holes are now running up and down, and I'm looking for my diamond to be pointing towards 2 o'clock. Up through the hole on the left, because this time I'm going anti-clockwise with this piece. Seed bead, on with the round, on with the seed bead, and then this diamond, we're looking for it to point to 10 o'clock, and I'm looking for my holes. There we go. Let's turn that one round, so my holes are now north and south, and my diamond's pointing to 10 o'clock. And I'm coming down through this one. Okay, add your seed bead, and then through the crystal round with the last element we added. Let's just go out shot there. Okay, how are we getting on? Are we all enjoying this so far? I say it is quite floppy to work with, this one, but it will firm up nicely. It's got a lovely movement on the wrist once you wear it as well, once you've finished. So back up to our starting point. Again, seed bead, diamonds. Okay, so look for where the holes are. So I can see my holes north to south, and I'm looking at my diamond on this occasion going to 10 o'clock. Up through the left right hand hole that time. Add the seed bead, the crystal, another seed bead, and the next diamond. So we'll be going down through this one. So the holes again north to south, and the leaf diamond pointing to 2 o'clock. Come down the left hand hole, add the seed bead. Okay, and back through that crystal. Okay, so just give it a little snuggle up with the thread. Okay, so if I just make all the tiles, because I've only threaded the one side of all these little diamond shapes, they're quite happy flip around upside down until we fix that in a little bit later. Okay. You see this one? It's just sat the wrong way round because it's able to move at the moment. So don't think you've gone wrong. Just turn it over. Make sure you're happy with everything, all the shapes pointing the right direction. Okay. So at the moment, obviously, it's easier just to unbead and correct whichever one's not sat quite in the right place. Let's do a couple more of those. Just cut myself a few more seed beads out here. I don't tip them all out. I will just knock them flying everywhere, which I do quite often anyway. I'm sure we all pick up a lot of seed beads from time to time. It's part of the hobby. Okay, so just double checking which side my thread's coming out of this crystal. So again, working my way to the top. So we just go back through the seed bead, up for the slanted tile, and into that crystal round. Okay. Yeah, and the colour's lovely though. They're just really sparkly. Great thing with beads, they just make you smile. Right, let's do another little loop on here, and then we'll show you coming back the other way. Where are we on time? Oh, we're not doing too bad. Okay, so seed bead. Again, I'm just looking for the holes. I can see that they're running north to south, and I want my diamond pointing towards 2 o'clock. So I'm coming in on the left-hand side of that bead. Add the seed bead. Add the round. Come back. Run away. Add the seed bead. And then we're looking for the next diamond. So holes north and south, pointing towards 10 o'clock on the point. And because we're coming round anti-clockwise again, I'm coming down through this diamond. So I'm picking up that way. Add seed bead and back through the crystal at the bottom. Okay, all right then. So what we'll do now, we'll just work on, bring your needle and thread back up through the last ones you've just added. Come through the seed bead and the faceted round there. Okay. We go. Linda says, hi from Scotland. Stephanie says, relaxing to watch. I'm glad it's relaxing to watch, Stephanie. I'm worried that you're going to get all confused with these little diamond shapes. They are tricky. You're trying to do it with the light on the camera shining the coating back at you. It's hard to see, but hopefully you're picking up the idea behind it now. Okay, so we're coming out this faceted bead, and if this is the end of the bracelet, or maybe you're going to go longer and make a necklace with it, and we'd be looking to add on our loop for the other end of the toggle. So we're going to do that now. So as in before, I had the 10 seed beads. So again, I'm going to pop on 10 seed beads. So it's got 3, 4, 5. So who's counting along with me? Anyone out there? I know it's the sort of thing I do when I watch tutorials, just can't help it. Again, just double check that the size of the hole in your toggle, or whichever you're using, will actually allow the seed beads to go through. Okay. And as I was saying earlier, if it doesn't do that, you just need to put 5 seed beads on, add the toggle, and then add another 5 seed beads, so your toggle sits in the center of that loop. Okay, these have got a nice size hole, not a problem. And then thread it back through that faceted crystal, so you've made up your loop. Okay, so we've gone through the faceted, we've gone up 10 seed beads, added the clasp, the toggle, carried on round and back through here. And what I would do at this time is go back round, just strengthen up that line of beads. There we go. Back down all 10. Okay, and that gives you a nice bit of strength for this. And again later, once you work your way back up, you might want to go around that another 1 or 2 times. It should be ample for the thread to go through. And all I'm going to do now is pass back through this crystal round. Okay, now I need to pass down through this seed bead, through the slanted tile, through that bottom seed bead. Okay, and through the crystal round. Now this is just because I need to reposition my needle and thread, and I don't want to see the thread path. Okay, so go back up. All right, so I'm now coming out this top of the slanted bead here. Okay, I'm going to add 2 seed beads, and then I'm going to come down the same tile. Okay, now these little seed bead just finishes off this top edge. It means you don't see the thread going between the first hole and the second hole of your diamond shape. Okay, so it just finishes off that little, it gives it like a little cap. Okay, and now the easy bit. Now, I promise you an easy bit. This is it. We're coming out the bottom of this tile. We're going to add a faceted round. We're going to enter through the next tile. Coming out of this one. Add another facet. And if you've got a really good bead stash, you could also have a play, add some bicones in here. You could make a little pattern with seed beads. It doesn't need to be everything in the kit. Obviously, that gives you the look that we're going for today. But when you play on your own and you're coming up with your own ideas, this is a good place to add something different. Okay. And we're just working our way along. Now, when I've done the original bracelet, I used the whole strand, which on my particular strand, there was 34 of these little tiles, which made a 7-inch bracelet. 7-inch or 17.8 centimeters, it roughly works out. But you could use less tile beads and use more loops with the seed beads at the end. You could have a different type of clasp, which will also affect what you're doing. Okay, so here we are. We've just got to the end of this little side. Okay, so now all these little tiles actually stay where they're supposed to stay. Okay, so now what we're going to do at the end of this one, we're going to mirror what we've done at the first end. So we're going to add our 2 seed beads. We're coming out of this diamond on this side, and we're going to drop down through the diamond on the other side. So that finishes off our little bead cap for that bead. Okay. And now we're essentially going to work our way from this side of the bracelet through the crystal and the seed beads up through the diamond and add our 2 seed beads on the top of that side. And then we can work our way along the other edge. Okay, so down through the seed bead to there. You can see I've got quite a lot of play in my thread here. I would go round again and tighten it all up. Up through the seed bead, up through the tile. Okay, so I'm not picking up a seed bead that's already there. I'm just coming out of the tile, adding 2 new seed beads, coming down the same tile in the other hole that's available. Okay, so if I lay that down for you. Okay, so we've just worked our way through here, down through this faceted round, through the seed bead, up through that side of the diamond, added the 2 seed beads at the top, and coming back down. So now we're just adding another crystal between all of these little diamonds, and that'll keep those in place. So a few more there. So again, I'm going to pick it up so I find it easier in my hand. Add the faceted round. Come on down with your slanted tile. Add the next one down through that. Okay, and continue till you've reached the end of your desired length. Just go along there. How are we doing? Are we enjoying this so far? I know it's a simple design and it is a little bit tricky explaining the diamonds, but I think the outcome is just really pretty. Okay, and now just coming out that last tile there, I need to just put the 2 seed beads on to finish that end. So here we go. Little seed beads moving around the mat. Okay, so coming out the top of this diamond shape here, I'm going to go down through that diamond shape there. Then I'm not picking any seed beads up here. I've just got my 2 new ones on the needle. Coming out through that seed bead at the bottom, and I'm going to go through the crystal. Okay. And there we go. And left myself a tiny little bit of thread again. I'm always doing that. I don't know why, I've got ample of thread on the reel from with the spider on, and I'm just reinforcing. Okay, so that I'm just going to tie a knot. So I just want to get somewhere where I've got the thread going in an opposite direction in order to tie my knot. But like I said earlier, I would reinforce my loops. If I felt the bracelet was a bit floppier than I like, I would actually just go along and bead all the way round the elements we've just done. Just follow the pattern. Just bring my thread and needle down. There we go. We'll say we've tied a knot there. And then I'd cut it off. Okay. So, small bracelet, Barbie doll size, or Cindy doll, is what I used to play Cindy doll. Okay. So, let's move it that way for you. So you can see, nice and simple. The colour of the beads is pretty much where all the pretty sparkle comes from. The faceted beads are also there. You could also change the size of your faceted beads or put bicones in. That would be lovely as well. Or maybe little gemstones. You've got little faceted gemstones that would be a really nice idea as well. Okay, so I would probably have another needle and thread and just reinforce everything on here just to firm it up a bit more. Okay, I'm going to say the toggle clasp would fit quite nicely. If you use your magnetic clasp equally, that would be really, really nice. How we do it? Could make earrings out of them too, Linda says. Wow, funny enough, you should say that. And Stephanie says, can you use the same pattern to make matching earrings? Well, while I was playing this morning, reminding myself of how to, I made another little element out of some turquoisey ones I happen to have, and I just made it short. I still put the loop at the top of the bottom. And the idea was to put the earring hook there, or clip on, or whichever style of earring finding you like. And then I put the loop at the bottom because I thought, well, it might be quite nice if I had a gemstone or a crystal, you know, like a faceted pear-shaped drop or something, and then just pop that in on the bottom. And that gives you the option to do that as well. I thought that might make quite a pretty little earring. So yes, the other thing you could do, if you were to make a necklace, I think in order to get the shape, unless you would accept that you were going to go for a V shape and get the joining down the bottom, so you'd have a V shape coming here. The other way to do it is to get this bracelet to curve more for a necklace in mind, is actually to use say if you use a 4mm faceted on this side, drop down to a 3mm facet on that side, or a 3mm this side and a 2mm that side. I think 1mm difference in the facet would give you a subtle curve, and that would then make quite a nice necklace. If you're going to go down the option of necklace, you could maybe, just ideas, just putting it out there, guys, because this is how my brain would work. I would think about, perhaps I have the drop, maybe not this different colour, it might be the same colour, have a drop that then matches the earring, if that's what you're going to do with the earring. So hopefully that gives you a few little ideas. As it's always worth bouncing these ideas around, because you come up with little thoughts, and you think, well, actually, if I just change this bead for this bead, that would make it, give it a little bit more curvature, a bit of shape. And equally, you could keep to the bracelet. You could change the size of the beads on the left for 2 or 3, and then change the side of the bead on the right for 2 or 3, and then you'll get a slight undulation, I suppose is a word. But this bracelet here, I've only done the thread path once. I haven't reinforced it other than going around the loops twice or 3 times. And as you can see, it's got just a beautiful drape to it. It's try not to move it too fast. It just feels really, really nice. So it's got a lot of movement, you can see. It's not stiff at all. The only way you've got any stiffness is if you were trying to get it to bend in that direction, which is why I'm saying about using a smaller bead at the top and larger at the bottom if you wanted that curvature on it. All right. You'd have to play around with the sizes. It might be that you need to increase the bottom row by a crystal and a seed bead either side, for example, just to give it that more pronounced curvature. And if you've got a real tight curvature, then you need to think about this middle section as well, where you'd end up maybe adding 2 seed beads for each piece, so it allows the movement a bit further. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I've got off track a little bit here, but it is a really pretty bracelet, and the kits, so we'll have a look at those in a moment. They're going to be really fun to use. Okay. Hopefully that all makes sense. If there's anything, just text in. If there's anything I haven't quite covered clearly enough for you, I'm happy enough to go back over it. And the main points of these beads, definitely when you've got them, before you start working with them, just check that the 2 holes are clear all the way through. Bring back the said bead. There we go, that's not too bad, is it? You've got the 2 holes, and you can see on this one, actually you can see through them, they're fine. But I would pass the needle through both the holes before I start working, just to make sure, because if you get halfway through that bracelet and you come back on the second row, you're coming down on this final stretch and you find one that has got a blocked up hole and you can't get it clear with your needle. Most of the time you can, but if you've got one that's just persistently it's stuck, it's not coming out, and you have to unbead to get back to that one, it's just annoying. Just pay 5 minutes at the most just checking your strands for those 2 holes, and that goes for any of the 2-hole beads out there. Always check them. And it's only because I know I've done it myself. I've got halfway through a project and found I could not get hole clear, and I've had to unbead a whole load, probably a good hour's worth of beadwork, in order to get back to that one bead. So yeah, if you've used them before, you've probably done the same thing. But there we go. Oh, the colours on that, they're brilliant, don't they? So summery already. Oh, goes with a nice sunshine outside. Oh, okay, so hopefully you all enjoyed that. What have we got? Purple penny. Oh, should we try and highlight that one? Here we go. How's that? I once made mistakes not checking, and by the time I found out, it was too late. I couldn't bear the thought of undoing it all, so I fudged it. So sometimes fudging it is the way to go, Purple penny. The trouble is, you know it's there, and that's the bit you always come back and spot. No one else sees it, just you, but you know it's there. That's how it is. So you don't catch on camera. These look quite golden purples, and you turn it on the side, you can actually see what colour these beads are. They're the red with the AB coating on top. But you really don't see it when it's laying flat on the camera. Yet what I can see, like on my hand, is definitely more reddy pinks with the golds and the purples. Yeah, all these beads are just beautiful, whichever colours you get on your kit. So, talking about kits, we go and have a look. Let's see what we got on here for you. Let's have a look. Here we go. So, beadspider.co.uk. You can go and do your bead shopping. You can buy your kits. You can have a good old look around. So here's today. If you need to watch the demo again when you get your kits and you want to have a go with these little tricky customers of slanty tiles, rewatch the video and have a look around. Okay. So if we just have a click on here, and voila, all your bead kits come up available. We've got the cool tones, which is this beautiful blues and greens, and then we've got the warm tones, which is your ambers and your reds and your bronzes, some of the plummy colours I think in there as well. You've got the crystal rounds as well, the seed beads, and like I was saying, the toggle clasps are included on this one for you. The spider lawn thread with the needle is included, and those kits today are $15.65 each. And as always, luckily, Bead Spider put together some bundles for you, so if you were to buy both, you get 15% off, and that's $26.61. So I think you'd have a lot of fun just mixing all the colours up, to be fair. Now, I know Matthew was setting this up. He was actually going to do 14% off as it was Valentine's Day, but he thought, you know what, let's give that little bit extra. And you got the 15% off. So take advantage, get in there and enjoy that. Have a good look around the website as well, because you've got the beads here. So if you click on that main picture, that brings you straight to those kits. But if you carry on scrolling down, you've got other beads available that you could take advantage of, mix up your design. You can, like the crystal beads that it was saying, buy some different sizes, change your colorway a little bit by adding a color that's maybe more to your preference that you'd like to mix in. So you just click on there and, well, hey, look at all these sparklies. Beautiful. Pop them in your basket. The discounts will be there for you, and that will get added to your basket. You've got all the different tutorials and things here. You've got components. So if you need to buy, I don't know, your earring findings, you want to make some earrings to go with your bracelet. If you want different types of clasps, carry on and have a look at all the clasps. Loads and loads of beads. It's loads of crystal faceted. Wow, that's a wealth of everything there for you. So hopefully you will enjoy all of that. And don't forget, there are still some projects available, some kits available from what Matthew has been doing in the last week. I think figure 8 kits are still available for you. So you can have a look on there. And that's well, I think we're about there. What do you think? I think I also need to say, and let's see if this works today. Yeah, there you go. So if you like watching and you don't ever want to miss us ever again, maybe you come across us accidentally today. Hopefully you've enjoyed it and you're going to come back. But don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the little bell and say all, and then you'll get all the notifications of us going live. Myself doing demos normally the Tuesday, Matthew does the Fridays, and he chucks in a few extra ones, and Jermaine as well will do some extra ones here and there. The website is full of all these tutorials, and you can go YouTube as well, find them that way. So we're live on the YouTube and the Facebook page, so you can always find us. When you make something, go on, put a picture on, show us what you've done, and we can come back and comment. And it'll be lovely to see what you're getting up to. It really is. And anyone that's not been on Facebook, have a look. There's loads of people on there popping their comments in, clipping their pictures in of what they've been up to. And yet it may not be any of the tutorials. It may just be what you've done in a day of beadwork. And it's really nice to see what you're all up to. So really, really good. So I shall be along next Tuesday, the 21st of Feb. Another little sparkly number for you, shall we say? Should be good fun. Nice and simple again. We're kicking off this year with a few simple, and then we may build it up a little bit later. And you've got Matthew on Friday. Not one to look forward to. So yeah, go on, subscribe, like it, get your notifications, don't miss anything. You can sign up to beadspider.co.uk. They have a newsletter as well, so you can sign up. You'll also get an email then just reminding you that it's coming up and what little picture, excuse me, or what is coming up, so you can get inspired. I hopefully enjoy that. And I don't know. Let's see what you get up to. Let us know. It'd be lovely to see what you've done. And if you've got any ideas of things you want to see, let us know. Is there something you want to learn? Is there a particular stitch that you just can't get your head round and you need us to give you some ideas of how to use the stitch, perhaps? Or is there particular beads on the website that you've not seen us use? Let us know that. Perhaps we can come up with a little demo and a nice little project. We'd like to have a challenge as well as everyone else. So I don't know what else to say now. I think we're about there. Thank you everyone for joining in. I've been looking through the comments, and it's wonderful to know you're all out there joining in. So I think for today, that's me done. I'll see you next Tuesday. Don't forget Friday for Matthew. All good. Bye-bye. Back again. Bye.